Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I'm your host, Attorney Lee Marvin. I've been practicing immigration law for over a decade, practicing law for, over 20 years. But I'm here tonight, which is Monday, September 9th, 2024, and I'm here to answer your immigration-related questions and to talk about whatever things come up. I do this every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Detroit time. I'm in my main office in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I have people joining me from all over the place, which is what I like to do every Monday. I like to ask people first off, where are you joining me from tonight? So if you're from Michigan, if you're from Florida, we get people from all over the world. So please type in the comment section, tell me where you're joining me from. And also, when you have questions, put them in the comments section, okay? So I can answer your questions. I have a few questions that I got earlier today, but your live questions, it's why you're here, right? It's why you're watching. So please type in your questions so that I can answer them. And I have a lot of people joining from YouTube, from Facebook, from Instagram. So thank you for joining me again tonight, okay? So Chicago, thank you for joining me. Raymond King from Chicago. We got another friend from Chicago. Thank you so much. And as people join, hopefully they know to mention where they're from. I might remind people because I love talking to people. I love finding out where people are from. And honestly, a lot of this stuff is relevant more so depending on where you are from, okay? So if you just type in the comment section where you're from and also your questions so I can help you answer your questions. Texas, thank you for joining us from Texas. Texas is a huge state, wonderful state. A lot of my clients, a lot of my friends hail from Texas, so thank you for joining us from Texas. Okay, so as I see questions, I'm going to start answering them, okay? So Ida, hello, how long is a B1, B2 visa valid for? Okay, so there's two parts to that question. A B1, B2 visa has an expiration depending on how many years they approve it, but it also has an expiration depending on how long they allow your authorized stay in the United States, okay? Most B1, B2 visas, it depends on your relationship with who you have in the United States. If you're just coming purely for tourism and it's not to visit family and things like that, so usually it's good for a couple years, and they will designate how long you can stay each time, okay? So usually that happens when you enter the country. They give you a document called an I-94, and that I-94 will tell you how long you're allowed to stay. It's weird because passports and I-94s are changing. So they used to stamp it on the passport and you could see on there, oh, I could stay for 2 months. Or once they kind of stopped doing that, then you could go online and look up your I-94 to see when you're allowed to stay and when you have to leave, okay? So it all depends. Tourist visas, B1, B2 visas, it depends on your purpose. If you're here for business, it's different than if you're just here for tourism, okay? So that's the B1, B2 visa. So let's see. Okay, Florida. Jamaican friend living in Florida, welcome, and thank you for joining us from Jamaica in Florida, okay? So thank you for joining us. And again, I'll tell everyone, please type your questions in the comment section, okay? If you have questions, you're on the program, I can answer your questions. If you're just here to observe, that's cool too, but don't forget to type in your questions, okay? Let me go over here, see what's going on YouTube. Okay, Joselito, join us from the Philippines. Thank you again, Joselito, for joining us. You're one of our repeat fans that joins us every week, so thank you for that. Let me take a look at your question here. Good morning in the Philippines. My priority date is November 21st of 2013, but until now, no update. What's the status of F category? Can you please? So, Joselita, I believe this was the same question you had last week. I always check the visa bulletin, but now no movement. So there's how to follow up with my status. Okay, Joselito, I get it, man, and I feel for you. And yes, there was no movement last month in the visa bulletin, and it's really, really annoying. Let's see, the visa bulletin hasn't come out for the next month. Then you got to keep watching. It doesn't move that fast, but they do post the changes. I told you last week to go onto my YouTube channel and to look up the video where I explain how to look this up yourself, because I typically don't have time on the program to look it up for you, but I show you the way. So take a look at my videos and watch that video for me, Joselito, okay? So Michael, wonderful. Michael says that they just approved his wife's 601A today. Congratulations. You probably were waiting a good 2, probably 3 years. So Michael, I'm so happy for you. So now the next phase of your operation is to get ready for her interview overseas. Obviously, I don't know where she's going to have her interview, but that's the next step in the process for you. Very exciting time. Go to my YouTube channel. I know you're a YouTube fan, so go to my channel. If you haven't already checked out my video about how to prepare for that, I do have that video on there, so you and your wife can look at that video. I don't know if you guys found your own immigration stuff, your own green card stuff, but check out my channel because I should have a video on there that will help you prepare for that, okay? Brazil. Okay, Michael, she's in Brazil. So check out that channel so you can see if there's a video about that. And Joselito, it's my pleasure for answering your question. Again, I think Joselito, and I go back and forth here, so sorry for the confusion, people, but I always like to put this on in the chat so people know how to reach us. If there's more direct questions, you want to talk to me directly, you would do that by booking a consultation, booking a time to talk to me, and this link is how you do it, okay? So 1 second here, I'm looking, I've got a bunch of questions popping up. So we got people from Florida, from Texas, from Chicago. If you want to list where you're joining us from, that's always much appreciated and a lot of fun. Okay, so I've got Ashley here. Ashley's asking from Instagram, what if you withdraw from the I-485 and plan to refile? Okay, so Ashley, you do have that right. We got a friend from New Jersey. Thank you for joining us from New Jersey. So Ashley, it is possible to do that. Everything depends on why you withdraw it, when you withdraw it, and what field office you're dealing with. But you do have the right to withdraw it. It might be a little bit challenging when you get to the interview because they're going to ask very serious questions, what's going on, why you would have withdrawn it, et cetera, but you do have that right, okay? If you have a more specific question, you can type it in the chat, but you do have that right, okay? Let me go back over yonder. Okay, so there's a question here that I was asked. I wanted to bring it up here. Okay, where was that? Okay, so in this, I frequently get questions about criminal backgrounds. Okay, so this question was from my YouTube channel. Can a pardon from a state help a criminal case that deals with moral turpitude? Very challenging question. Okay, why is it challenging? Because everything with immigration is challenging these days. But criminal stuff, moral turpitude, that's the part of the immigration laws that say if you're trying to become a citizen through the naturalization process, or even if you're trying to maintain your legal permanent residency, you do have to show that you are a person with good moral character. If you do certain things, and this mostly speaks to naturalization, not so much legal permanent residency, but naturalization. This comes up mostly with that. But if you have a crime that goes under the broad banner of moral turpitude, so poor morals, then immigration will deny your naturalization request. It depends on what the crime is. The funny thing is, and check out my videos, okay? Because I've done a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel about this, but basically, certain crimes, it might be a misdemeanor, but it might violate immigration law for moral turpitude, okay? So if you had a pardon, I mean, I don't know if that means that you had prison time and you were pardoned from prison, but if something requires prison time in prison sentence, that's a pretty serious crime, and a pardon doesn't change that. Immigration is really difficult because whether you've done something or not is what they look at, not whether you've um, fixed the problem, whether you've fulfilled your time. Immigration looks at what you did and when you did it. Okay, they can punish you, meaning not let you move forward with immigration if you have done something bad enough, even if the local court gives you a pardon or expunges your crime. Immigration has the right to look at it no matter where that crime is. It is always searchable by immigration, okay? So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that if it's no longer active, they're good. It's not true, okay? So be careful with that. Check out my YouTube channel because I do talk about that in a couple of videos, okay? So, okay, one second here. Let me go over to here. Okay, so I'm back to my friends on Instagram. I bounce back and forth. So, how long does it take for them to make a decision after joining the interview based on marriage for a green card? How long does it take? So, if you've gone to an interview for a green card, okay, let's see, the spouse process or even a family member, and you've already gone to the interview, which means it's probably a spouse interview because they don't really interview a whole lot for siblings or parents. But if you've gone to that interview, in my experience with a green card, my clients, they get a decision the same day, meaning immigration tells them, we're going to approve your request. You just have to wait for the formal official approval to come in the mail, usually in 1 to 3 weeks. Okay. It's pretty quick. If you've already had your interview, it's very quick. They will either tell you at the time of the interview and say, hey, you're going to get approved. Or they'll say, hey, you've got to wait for us to send you information in the mail. We might need a couple extra documents. So it depends on what they told you at the time of the interview. But most of the time, the interview's done and you will know whether you've been approved or not. You just have to wait for the approval in the mail. Okay. Okay. So it looks like I skipped a question. Please, I need to know. Thanks. I will say, let me go up and look, but I will tell you that I've got a link above too. So if something is a critical or very important question, if I don't get it to it on the channel here, folks, I put a link up in the chat. That's the way to contact me directly. So you can ask a question if I miss it, but I will go up and see. And that's okay. Waffle. Let's see. Oh, I see it now. I applied for my sibling 3 years ago. How long does it take for them to get a green card? Okay, so here's the answer that you were not hoping to hear. 3 years is nothing for siblings, okay? Most of the time it takes 18 years, roughly. It depends on the country you're from, but sibling to sibling green card processes are more than 10 years. Check out my YouTube channel. I do videos about this. I explain to you waiting times. I even tell you the latest waiting times for your category. So check that out. But 3 years is nothing. It's a blink in the eye of immigration. So check that out. It's probably going to be minimum 10 years, depending on where you're from. Okay. So sorry to bring you bad news. Let me go down here. Um, okay. The real Bernard. I got married in July of 2024. Congratulations. That was just a short while ago. So I hope things are going very well for you. When should I start green card application? When is the best time to do this? Immediately. You don't wait, okay? The day you got married, technically you could have filed for the green card request, okay? Lots of misinformation out there on the internet. Um, you don't have to wait. You do it right away. I help clients usually before they get married to actually prep all the immigration documents so that as soon as you have that marriage certificate, you're filing with immigration so you don't have to wait. So it gets processed a lot quicker. So the real Bernard, don't wait. You can do it right away. If you need help with that, let me put that link again, okay? There's a link to reach me if you need help with that. I do it all the time. I would love to help you with that, okay? Okay, let me put it over here too, just for good measure. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I thought I saw a question here, but maybe, okay. So let's see here. It's been 3 months since since we had the interview. They haven't made a decision. Huh, that's, okay. So this goes back to the question about having an interview and how long is it going to take? Something isn't right. Okay, so the big question is, was your interview inside the United States or was it outside? If it was outside, what country or what embassy did you have your interview? And that's Airson 47. If you give me a little bit more detail, I might be able to answer the question a little bit better. But 3 months waiting for a decision. If it's inside the United States, that's very uncommon. If it's outside the United States, I mean, it depends on the embassy. But typically, if you go to an interview, you usually know the day of. So my suspicion is that you're either at a very busy embassy or they asked you for something and they're waiting for you to provide it, or they forgot to ask you and they were supposed to ask you. You get the point. So what you can do is reach out to them. If it's an embassy, you need to reach out to the embassy and ask them. If it's a local field office, same thing. Reach out to them so you can get the answer you need, right? Pressure immigration to do their job, to get back to you, okay? So let's see. Inside the United States. Okay. So yeah, I would say call. Unfortunately, you cannot call the field offices. They eliminated that possibility, that option, just because they like to keep us all in little boxes and they don't want to provide customer service. So there's one phone number inside the entire United States of America for immigration. That 800 number is the number you're going to have to call to try to talk to an agent to find out what's going on. I highly doubt that your field office has a posted or listed phone number. You could try to find out, but that ultimately, that field office has control. And I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to find the answers to these things. Okay, um, so let me go here. We got from Mark Zach. What's the process for marriage-based green card? I'm a student and I want to get married. My girlfriend is a U.S. citizen. Okay. So Mark, thank you for joining us and for the question. So marriage-based green cards, if you are a student, you're on an F1 student visa. Fortunately, the F1 student visa is a dual intent visa that allows you to do the student stuff, but you can also change your status without violating your student visa. Okay, that's a really amazing thing. You don't know how lucky you are for that because other visas you can't do that. Okay, so you can absolutely file your green card process based on your marriage while you still have your student visa. If you need help with that, up in the chat is the link for help. I would love to help you with that. I've done this many, many times, including for my wife. So student visa to green card, you absolutely can do that at any point in time. you got to get married, of course. So you say that she's your girlfriend. So obviously, you got to get married to be able to move forward with that process. But we can help you even before you get married. So just check us out, okay? Um, let's see. Okay, Ashley, me and I didn't word it properly. I went to the interview, didn't get a decision the same day. We got an RFE. Okay. I plan to withdraw my 485. 3 months later, I plan to withdraw it because they say that we need more evidence. Roger that. Okay. So Ashley, that's you can definitely do that. Okay. So here's the deal. At this stage of the game, either you withdraw it, which means you've got to refile it, or they deny it, which means you got to refile it. Okay. If you have the ability to withdraw it, you can talk to immigration. You can definitely do that. Legally, there's really no difference between withdrawing it or letting it lapse. If you don't follow through with the RFE, they will just deny it, right? And then you'll be able to file at a later date with all the information you have. So if you can't meet that RFE deadline, then yeah, you have to make a decision. It really there's nothing wrong with just letting it lapse. But if you want to withdraw it, by all means, contact immigration and communicate that to them. Okay. So good luck to you. If you need help with any aspect of this, I put the link above, and you can always let me know. Okay. Um, the thing is with immigration stuff, um, it is not easy. Okay. Immigration now they do all these things online processings, all this stuff because they want people to file their own stuff. Okay. Why do you need an attorney? Because attorneys have years of experience in dealing with the government and avoiding problems. Okay. So people say, oh, it's really easy. You just fill out the application. Yeah, it's easy until it gets processed and it gets denied, or you get a request for evidence and you need more evidence. So having an attorney who does this, I've been doing this for over a decade. So obviously I know all the tricks. Um, that is why somebody gets an attorney, because it's a lot more difficult to fix the problem once it happens, easier to avoid it. And sometimes just interpreting what the heck immigration is even asking is very challenging. They don't really come out and say it. Immigration's job is to not help people get through the immigration process. They propaganda type stuff, they want people to think that because it's easy for them to do their job and to deny people. Immigration, believe it or not, the era of immigration has changed a lot depending on the administration. Helping people move forward with immigration is kind of not in fashion anymore. They're doing their job because the government has to do it, but it's not in their interest to help people succeed. It's in their interest to help people trip up so they can quickly resolve immigration processes. Okay. So be careful when you do your own immigration, is all I'm saying. Okay. Um, let me see here. Okay, Ashley. Yeah. Okay. I understand that, Ashley. I get that. Okay. So yeah, you definitely, you've got your own issues. Um, Tread lightly with this. We might need to have a consultation, because if you withdraw something and it didn't need to be withdrawn, that could impact the future of your immigration. So it wouldn't hurt you to reach out and schedule a consultation to talk to me about this before you do something that it's going to be harder to undo. Okay, that's all I'll say. Um, let's see here. So, okay. So once again, follow up to Mark Zach. What's the process for marriage-based green card? I'm a student. Oh, sorry, so sorry. I think you asked that question again. I answered it earlier. I will remind you all again. Thank you for joining me again every Monday. But I post this video, okay, after I do all this stuff. So if you missed the live, or if you want to go back to what I did and review what I said, I post this on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to my channel, because I do post this and you can go back and look at my answers again. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. The real Bernard. I got married to a citizen in July. Okay, you lost your Jamaican passport along with your visitor visa inside. That's rough. It would take 4 to 5 months to get my passport back. What can I do in the meantime to start my green card? So, the real Bernard, that's not a good situation because there's certain things you need in order to file for your green card process, and it looks like it's the very thing that you've lost. Okay, if it's possible to resolve this while you're waiting for the replacement, you might need to book a consultation with me so we can talk about this. I can help you work through this. It is possible. So, Mark Zach, yes, I appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words too. Okay, so Ida, if you have one more question, I will look for it below. If I don't see it, I will just move on. Okay. Um, yes, Mr. Cruz. Yes, it is better to use a lawyer I mean, things get botched up and they get tangled up. And the thing is with immigration, my claim to fame with all my immigration cases and my success is that I do a darn good job. I do it right in the beginning. I avoid lots of problems because of that. Immigration gets a filing and they see a properly filed with good information. It makes them want to approve it quicker. Okay. So doing it right in the beginning is worth every penny. I'm telling you, people come back to me afterwards, or people botch it up and they have to fix something, or it gets denied, and they have to spend double the money. Okay. So I'm saying doing it right the first time is always better than trying to fix it later on. So thank you for your comment. Let's see here. What is the time frame for a marriage-based I-130? Okay, so Black Love 4. Go to my YouTube channel and type that into the question because it depends on a lot of things about your marriage-based I-130. It depends where, if you're doing it in the United States, if you're doing it at a country with an embassy outside the United States. It depends on, let's see here. It depends on whether your spouse is a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident. It depends on a lot of things. But look at my YouTube channel where I have videos about this. If you don't get the answer on my channel, you can always schedule a consultation. Louise, a consultation to talk to me. Okay. Okay. 1 second. Okay. What's the next move after the B? This is Ida's follow-up question. What's the next move after B1, B2 approval to apply for a green card? So if you have a tourist visa and you're in the United States, that means you've legally entered. That's not enough to get a green card, okay? You have to have a sponsor, whether that's a family or a business. If you have a family member who can sponsor you, okay, then that would be your next step. Depending on where you are, your relationship, it depends on a lot of things. Again, another thing, and I'm preaching to the choir here because you guys get it. Immigration is very difficult. Doing things in the right order is everything, right? Because timing is everything with immigration, and depending on the relationship, your sponsor, it has a complete different outcome. Again, I'm pushing my YouTube channel a lot because I've answered lots and lots of these questions. I have like 300 videos on there. So go on there, do a search, and you'll see a lot of really good videos with a lot of these questions probably already answered for you, okay? If not, you can use that link to schedule a consultation, and I will answer your question in person on the phone, of course. Can you work before prima facie VAWA approval? So if you don't have work authorization, you're legally not permitted to work in the United States. So if you don't have a prima facie VAWA, they called what do they call it now? A bona fide determination. If you don't have a bona fide determination to be able to get a work permit, you're not legally allowed to work in the United States. So if you work you're working illegally, and that could have an impact on your future immigration process. Okay, so if you can wait, I definitely would. Okay, um, so this is a common question from Roland. Why is I-130 taking so long? It's always been thus, okay? It's always taken forever, longer now because of politics, because of COVID, because of just sheer numbers, okay? It does take a long time, and it depends on the relationship in that I-130 process too. So it depends on a lot of factors, okay? So that's why it's the nature of the immigration beast. Question here. My spouse is a U.S. citizen, and I'm filing in the U.S. Okay, so that's black level 4. Okay. Um, okay, so if your spouse is a U.S. citizen, you're filing in the United States, there is no waiting period. Okay, it's just processing times. Okay, so you're in the one category where there is no waiting times. There are other categories like that, but U.S. citizen spouse filing in the United States, there is no wait. Okay, so check out my YouTube channel. I talk about that too, but you have the right to move forward with adjustment status if you're in the United States legally and you have that relationship. You can file right away. If you need help with that, that link that I put above, you can reach out to me and I could help you with that. I'd be happy to do so and work my magic so that it goes quickly without problems. Okay. Um, my spouse. Okay. Yeah, I just read that. Okay. So, Mr. Cruz, what is the process of filing for my parents who are in the U.S. already, freshly, when one is a U.S. citizen? So, if your parents enter the United States with a visa, meaning they're in the United States legally, you can typically, and if you have an approved I-130, you have to have the approved I-130. Okay. So I-130 approved and them in the United States legally, you can move forward as soon as you have that I-130 approved. Okay. Um, the real Bernard follow-up question. What's the first thing to do when starting your green card application? Medical or forms? Okay, so the real Bernard, I said earlier that we probably need to talk. I don't like answering questions like this because it gives you little tiny pieces and it's not fair to you. And as an attorney, it's pretty dumb for me to do that because people follow my advice and all of a sudden they come back and they say, well, you don't know what you're talking about because you said this. Meaning context is critically important. As an attorney, I'm very careful to make sure that I'm getting the right information to give the right answer to you. So I would say the real Bernard, we need to talk, okay? So click on the link to schedule the consultation. Holy cow, I'm over my time. Um, so lots of great questions, and this keeps rolling, but I am over my time. So I will tell you all, please join me next week at the same time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, with your questions. And again, thank you for everyone for joining us. And I apologize if I didn't get your question because there are a lot of really good questions tonight. Thank you kindly. I kind of turned my back on some people in my YouTube channel, like Estelita. Thank you for joining us again from the Philippines. Lots of questions. I can't get to them all the time, every time. So join me next week and I will get your question. Please join me. Subscribe to my channel. Look up answers to questions on my YouTube channel. And I will see you next Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Detroit time. Have a good night.